Hello everybody, in this episode we're gonna learn how to set up the initial scene of the game and start with the first part of the spawning mechanics, which is gonna be basically set up the UI here and the first look of the game here. Let's jump into it. Before we jump into any mechanics, we have to create a game scene, which is going to include all our game aspects. I created a scene called game and put it in the scene folder. Next thing we need to do is we need to talk about how do we spawn items. So right now we have literally an empty scene with nothing. So the spawn is going to work as follows, right? We're going to have some sort of a panel on the left side, and it's going to include the towers, right? Like different types of towers. We need to click on one and click somewhere, or as Plants vs Zombies is drag and drop. Alright? For the simplicity, I'm gonna make it only click. And you click on the tower and then you click on the place in the map to spawn it. Right now we don't have any indications, so we need to create some sort of a sample template of a map. Let's open the tile palette here and create a palette. Let's call it floor. I want to say ground, okay? And we create it. Let's put it here. Actually, we have a folder called graphics. So let's ignore it. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go call it palette. Damn, can't find palettes. So I'm gonna add this one here in this folder. We're good. We need to drag and drop the floor stuff that we need. Let's look through the assets that we got. I think I'm gonna go with backyard. I think this one is the best one so far. As you can see, we got all the stuff and it's already separated. It's good. Let's go to the palette. Let's get this backyard and let's just drop it. Oh no! Let's just drop it in the same folder of palettes. It's good. I don't like the placement of this in here. I might put it on this side. Why do I feel that the side of the type of it is different? I think I'm just... Oh, it's because of this. Never mind. So, we're right now in here. So let's create a tile map. Let's call this ground. Alright? I'm gonna put this in here because it's much nicer. First of all, let's keep this mouse here. We need to add nothing in here, and this is the palette. Let's start drawing. Alright, so this is our view of the camera, which is this one. We've got ourselves a 5 orthographic viewport. I'm gonna wait, what was that? Okay, so I'm gonna add these stuff in here. Let's add multiple types of... Which one was delete? Edge? Okay, never mind. Here. It's D. Let's draw again. We got this type. I think there's multiple ones. I'll go with the... let's go with this one. Yep, this one is enough. These two. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. So if I even draw in here. So with these we have slightly better placement. So if I go here. Oops. Just put let's just duplicate this as much as we can. I think it filled the whole camera and even some. Okay, here we go. I don't know where the camera viewport is. Oh, it's because of this. I think we're good. We're good. I can put even a bit more in here. Let's have painting. Slightly higher. Let's get this. Let's get more of these bad boys into here. I think it's fine. Let's get this working with. So we have this, and we need to add some sort of a boundary. So for boundaries, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with these bushes. Okay, let's make it simple. You see, it's just a simple way of getting in and out, right? And for the end and the start, I'm gonna put, just for the sake of it, let's just put this. Like this is our land, and these are the floors. So you see, we don't have a visual guide grids in here, which is fine. But actually, let me see. I haven't thought about this before. If I add outline, does it work like this, or no? This doesn't work here. Bottom left. Oh, yeah, that's fine. But 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a bit too much, isn't it? I want to make like 4 places. Let's go with 3. Okay, with 3 go. Edge, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's it. That's exactly it. So I'm gonna redraw on top of these. Yep, and then because I need the game to be simple enough but not too complicated. So we go. We got this part fixed up. We need this. Let's add some other types of these stuff, and let's add this maybe as a view of. Oh wait, did I add the? Oh crap! I added the one that has in the lake. Nope. Now we're good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, I think, something that indicates the start of the level. As we did is let's go with these. Okay. That's a really bad idea. Let's go with these. So we're good. So now 1, 2, 3. How can we know? Okay, I'm getting overly worked on top of this. So we got place 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got 4 places. So with this we have a setup, a tiny setup for the level. Let's start with, let's close this, save it, and let's start with the spawn mechanics. For now, I'm gonna create a simple mechanic of spawning. Let's go here. Let's create, I'm gonna call it spawner. Alright. Let's run this. I'm not gonna create a fancy UI for now. It's gonna be simple in a sense that you choose an element and it changes the index of that element, and you can spawn it on the floor. Okay, so we got this here. Let me minimize. One thing we should know about is, in order to indicate where the mouse is, we have to raycast. Alright? And raycast works with gliders, right? So we're gonna go glide. I think it's gonna tile map colliders. Here we go. Let's keep it as trigger. It's fine. And then I'm gonna create a layer, call it actually, you know what? I'm gonna call it ground and spawn point. These are good, but now while making these parts, I actually figured out that I have to add another layer here, okay? Layer called spawn points. And what I mean by this is I don't want the player to be able to spawn on top of these, only in a specific area. And to do this, we have to manually decide where to spawn. So I copied these two, so this is exactly the same as the first one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete. Actually, you know what? First of all, let's hide this. Let's hide it, and let's delete the spawnable area. Okay. So these are the places where you spawn stuff. The ground is gonna be ground, where spawn point is gonna be spawn points. And for the ground, we don't need colliders. We need it only for the spawn points. That's it. So in spawn points, now let's enable it. Actually, let's delete it. Let's create a new one. Let's do it properly. Okay, tile map, let's call it spawn points. You can call spawn ground, it's up to you. Spawn points, let's have collider, keep it trigger, and then we start drawing stuff. As we did. Right, okay, let's add some weird stuff. For now, I'm gonna limit the spawning up until this area. So let's do this. Let's delete these bad boys from here, and let's go back to the yeah, actually it's fine. So let's make it this way. I think it's better if we make it more visible that we can spawn there with this kind of a scheme. So these ones are the places where we can spawn. This is not places to spawn. We sell this. Let's create let's call it, yeah, keep it grid, it's fine. I'm gonna call it level. Let's create a UI. Oh, no. Let's create a canvas. Let's name it UI. Change it to scale. Oh, since we're going landscape, let's keep it like this. And I'm going to use the camera itself. And not that far, no. Since this grid is... How far is it? It's actually 0. So we'll put the UI just one level in front of it, just safe enough. So I put it 5, it's gonna be too close. Let's keep it 1, it's fine. Here we go. So we have the UI. Let's have a panel. It's gonna be on I'm gonna keep it here, on the left side, not fully on the left side. Actually, you know what? It should be fully on the left side, because if we move this camera slightly like this, -1. Yep. That should do it. Yeah, I think that's fine. 0.7. Yep, that's the best thing that we can do. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna call it towers, alright? I'm gonna keep it fully extended, but not fully. Let's go with 85, alright? 85 is good. Inside, I'm gonna put, images, right? And these images will have, I'm gonna call it tower 1. And these images will have a button. You can go with button or even trigger, it's all up to you. But the cool thing about button is you can I mean, you can disable it. While as trigger, it's a bit, you have to disable the raycast, but button is much nicer. Let's go with button. And this button will do something which we don't care about at the moment, but if it's disabled, let's have this more dimmed out, right? Like if it's disabled, oh, it's too much. 4 is enough. It's just dimmed out. And what I want to do is I want to test on 2 elements. Tower 2. And in order to put them together properly, instead of doing this manually or assigning the pivots, let's just go with vertical grouping. That's it. I'm going to use the center up and child width. I think we're going to force it. Yeah, we have to force it. And let's disable this so we have this much part and then have a small thing in here. So I'm going to start choosing what I want to spawn. We've got this cool, I think it was this one, right? No, this UI. Pixel, maybe? Characters, Ninja, yeah, I think it's this one. So we got these parts. We got Ninja Frog, we got Pink Man, we get Mask Dude, and Virtual Guy. Let's start with Mask Dude and Pink Man, alright? Let me have him here. Mask Man. I'm gonna preserve it just for the sake of it. Or yeah, just try and keep it clean and nice. So we have this guy and the other guy is gonna be Mask Dude. Oh whoops. Mask Dude. Whoop. I mean, cool thing is if you don't preserve it, you're gonna have them stretched, but again, if they're not stretched, there's a small area here where you can press on him, but it's not a big deal. We got this guy and this guy. So since now we have this UI set up, let's go to the spawning mechanic, okay? In the spawner, we're gonna do this stuff. We're gonna have a list of towers. That's basically prefabs that will instantiate, okay? Right now we're gonna use it only in image prefab. Next thing is I'm gonna have to give it, let's say, it's better a list of spawned towers. I don't think we need this at the moment. It's just you have to keep your script as scalable as possible and more dynamic. And I don't think we need more. Actually, we can just even skip this one. It's for the sake of this tutorial, we need to only choose and spawn, and we need I want to say ID of tower to spawn. This is whenever we click on a button. So let's go with integer spawn spawn ID. Let's keep it -1. -1 means we're not selected anything, and then we go to public list game objects. Okay, I'm going to call it the towers. No, forget about this. So we have this part here set up, which I feel should be ahead of this, and ID of the spawned item. So what's going to happen is whenever we click on one of these, we're going to set an ID, alright? And then when the ID is set up, we're going to have to click somewhere, and we click somewhere, we spawn that item, okay? So first of all, I'm going to have to create a sample of that tower. Here we go. So we have this full guy. Yep. The size is too small, way too small. of course, because the UI scale points is different. So I'm gonna have to do something in here. I want them to be as similar as possible. It's like 32 by 32. Let's have it 50 maybe. Oh, I think I did the wrong way. Wait, what? I was doing right, wasn't I? Oh. It's just, it spawned behind this whole stuff. So let's make sure that we have the proper sorting here. So let's have sorting layer. Let's give this ground, towers. That's fine. Okay. So let's make sure that these two are set in the ground and this bad boy is in towers. All right. As far as I remember, I was 50. I think it should be enough. Hey, what's happened? Did I do something? I feel like I did something, but I don't remember what did I do. Wait up. Oh. No? Oh, it's a sorting layer. Of course it is. I'm gonna have to create another one. Call it UI. UI is gonna be always in front. Let's keep this one. Let's go back to the main view. Let's have the UI set as UI. Okay, we're good. Man, sorting is a pain. Let's call this tower 1. And then we need to modify it again. I want to make it to somehow fits the palette. Yep, so it should be, I think it's, if we make it 25 should be enough. No, that's big enough. 40. Yep, that's good. 40 is good. So let's go with 40, okay? So let's click on fall and we get all the falls people. Let's just do them one by one, it's fine. So we get the first tower. And right now I don't have, I'm gonna put nothing in it, alright? Nothing at all. Tower 1, tower 2. And tower 2 is gonna have the mask guy. Mask guy, we should just make it 40. That's all. Let's get these bad boys. Put in a prefab. Prefabs. I'm gonna put these guys in here. Right, of course you can create only one prefab at a time. So that's good. So for now we've got the UI setup, the prefab setup, and the initial scene setup. I'm afraid with this time I'm gonna end up this series, or why, not that series, this video. And I hope that you liked it, and then there's another episode coming up after this video. We're just gonna continue where we left off, and then we're gonna learn about how to spawn the elements on the map. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. If you did, hit the like and subscribe, and feel free to ask me questions and join my Discords. Of course, if you like my tutorials, please, support me on Patreon or PayPal as you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.